Welcome, Level Uppers. This is our very first response time. I'm here with Kristen, my wife, of course. Response time, what I'm going to do is each week you guys are submitting questions on Twitter or in the comments section, and I'm going to take my favorite question or one of the better questions, and I'm going to try and do a video response to it. So this week we have a question from John, one of our favorite Puss, exactly, Puss Scab, and he asked, with the likes of Project Morpheus, Oculus Rift, with the addition of 4K output as in resolution, what is left to advance in the gaming world?
I would like to speak on this.
Okay. Because you know so much about virtual reality and 4K resolution.
I do.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you even think there's a need for 4K resolution? Do you know what 4K resolution is, first of all?
So like holograms?
No, it's just the next iteration in higher resolution. Right now we're 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p, and above that you've got 4K, which is 2 times that resolution. So it's 4 times as many pixels or something like that. It's a lot of pixels. And the one TV that we saw at Best Buy, the one huge one, that's 4K, the one that looked beautiful. So it does look really nice, but the problem is that in order for it to be supported, at least on disc and stuff like that, you have to have these enormous Blu-ray sizes, and sometimes that can't even happen, and it might be hard drive that you have to have instead. If you're trying to download it, a 4K video file, if it's not compressed majorly, I'm guessing is going to take up, I can't even imagine, like 100 to 200 gigs. So a lot of your hard drive is going to be used up right there in
Honestly,
that file size.
I'm fine with what I have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that 4K is going to happen.
Like
It's going to happen. It's obviously going to happen. I think that it works really well for something like Netflix, video streaming, stuff like that. Netflix is doing a lot of 4K support right now. I think that's really smart, and I think that if video game streaming can get to an amazing point, you're going to see 4K game streaming. But he's talking more about games and the future of games. We have virtual reality on the rise.
That's virtual reality school.
Yeah, and I've shown you some videos of Oculus Rift, and it does look awesome in a lot of ways. At Project Morpheus, we haven't seen as much of Project Morpheus.
I wouldn't do Oculus Rift.
Because of motion sickness, or?
It'd just be too scary.
I think that's what's kind of cool about it is the immersion. I think that a survival horror game like Silent Hill...
That would be terrifying.
It would be terrifying, exactly, and I think that's what's kind of cool about it. It would be cool to immerse yourself that much into a game, especially if you have the sound too, which these come with. You have the headphones, you're entirely soaked into the experience.
But it also completely disconnects you from reality.
Yes, which some people want.
Yes, but it's just, like...
It's scary, I know.
You could, like, not even know where you're at.
Yeah.
That's scary to just completely forget. Like, I don't know. Just
yeah. No, and there are some people that actually legitimately fear that. We talked about it on the show, addiction to video games and how virtual reality could emphasize that. But either way, I think that definitely is a part of the future. But the main question that John is asking here is, once we get to that point, what's beyond that? Like, what could we possibly have in gaming to further the immersion and the innovation?
Well, the world will probably end, so...
So we don't have to worry about it.
We don't have to worry about it.
If I were to try to give an answer to this, I think that the one console future is possible. And what I mean by that, if you know, there's this thing that people always say, one console future, one console future. It's the idea that you don't have to buy an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a Nintendo. It's just you get everything in one place.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that can possibly happen is through game streaming. So imagine if we got to the point where you no longer need to buy these consoles, you download an application on your smart TV. And then you buy the controller at the store, it's Bluetooth, it hooks up to your Bluetooth in your TV, and it's streamed on the cloud like PlayStation Now has. It's early, it's not perfect, but in 10 years, once everyone has Google Fiber and amazing speeds on the internet, at that point, we might be able to stream these games with low latency or no latency with amazing graphical fidelity. Because imagine that we don't have to have the amazing hardware. That can be wherever the servers are, doesn't matter. There's this huge pile of servers and an amazing computer running this game at 4K resolution with the most unbelievable graphics in the world, and none of that is being used on your resources. It's all on them, and they're just streaming it to you. And then on top of that, all of your content in one place. Maybe that's the question: is how do you price that? You're no longer buying a $400 console. So does PlayStation charge you $100 a year for the PlayStation application, or do they just? That's the thing: is how do they differentiate themselves at that point?
Or do they just deem it a basic human right, like the internet?
Like the internet, and everyone just gets PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's the only question that I really have is how do they make that work, and how do Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo even profit from this? That's the thing, is they don't profit that much from the hardware right now. The hardware typically is sold at a loss. They profit from the software, so I suppose they can still profit from the software, but there's no real differentiating identity at that point, besides that your logo and your exclusives. So basically, you download the PlayStation app if you want all games and their exclusives. You download the Microsoft app if you want their exclusives, and that's it. Everything else is in your smart TV. You have all your Netflix applications and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the future, is trying to integrate it all into one thing, like trying to make it all work together, and hopefully at a decent price where they're not abusing us as consumers.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I agree.
That was a good question.
That was a good question. Thank you, John. Or Pus-filled Scab.
Pus-filled Scab. I never thought I'd have a friend with the name Pus.
Thank you for your question, Pus. And guys, we will be doing this every week. Well, at least I will. And this will be like a rotating chair, I guess you could say. Mike might be here one week. It might be just me one week. Or it might be Dean. But we are going to be taking your questions on Twitter, on YouTube. If you guys like this video and you want to submit your question, do it right down in the comments below. And also, if you want to see more videos like this one in the future, make sure to support the network on Patreon at patreon.com/the-level-up-network. Also right here. Click it if you want to check out our tiered reward system, support the show, and get things in return. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Heart the video, like the video, subscribe, do everything you need to, and look for us next week with another Response Time. See ya!
Bye!